Hi there, this is hopefully my last job I need to do on this before I can take it for an MOT, and that is to fix this indicator. This indicator, as you can see, is broken, wobbly, all over the shop. And to do that, I went out and replaced it with these off eBay that came from China. Took a couple of weeks to turn up, but has the metal clip on the back, so it should fit securely into this slot and make it look a bit more original. Now, to do this, unfortunately, on this bike, it looks like all of this fairing has to come off. So that's my first job, I think. If anyone knows a better way, I'll probably discover it as I go through, but drop it in the comments so that next time maybe I won't have to go this far if I decide to replace these at a later point. What I'm hoping to do is actually just take off this top intake here with there's a screw just underneath there where my finger is. And then these two, and I'm going to see if I can gain access through the top here. There is some pipe work just in there that needs to be disconnected. So if I remove this intake on this side, this long piece here, I'll be able to see if I can get access to this indicator without having to take the fairing off. So I'm going to give that a try first. A lot had to come off in the end. It turned out I couldn't just take off this without taking off the side panel because there just wasn't enough space to give it that little bit of flex to slide in the inducts, slide out the ducts rather. However, with the side panels off, then you can get to the indicators in here and this mess of tape and wiring that you can see there that I'm now going to have to sort out. Lucky enough, these are all bullet connectors, so they should be a straightforward swap. And you can see here the old connectors have come loose because the plastic holding this side on is there, but the plastic holding the outside edge here that's supposed to use to sandwich the two is missing, so that's why we're replacing both sides rather than just like for like. Come on, focus, there we go. So you'll see it's got an awfully old tape of electrician's tape. I'm hoping to wrap that with a bit of tester tape because these connectors look a bit worse for wear, and you can see where I've just been peeling it off. Sorry, there you go, you can see where I've just been peeling it off. I disconnected one by mistake. So I'm going to reconnect those back up and put the new ones in, which should be a simple process, I hope. Okay, so as you can see, this is now in. Now, this was an absolute nightmare with these Chinesium indicators. So you'll see here, the problem I had was once this piece pops out, what you have to do is you wedge this rubber and that goes around, or rather in between the fairings, so outside the fairing, inside the fairing, in the groove. Then the problem I had was getting this clip back in to this groove here, like so. Doing that with the fairing still on the bike is an absolute nightmare. Once that's in place, clipping this on, which then gets screwed in, creates the physical strength so it doesn't get pulled off the bike, but it still allows it to wobble and snap without snapping the fairings. So that's the piece that is very important to get right. And for me, I struggled blind. The other thing I struggled with is on the end here, these connectors, you see I've split them on these ones to make it slightly better wider for a bigger connection because they came with a smaller bullet connector than is required, at least for my bike. So now I've got to fit the other side and we'll go from there. Right, I am not sure what it is about this side, whether it's just a case of practice, because I did one and struggled, but this side went in perfectly, took me seconds. Other side took me half an hour of faffing. Now all I've got to do is, because these connectors here are exposed, I'm going to wrap them in a little bit of tester tape and then hopefully everything can go back together. It took quite a lot to get this off the bike. I mean, side fairing, intake ducts, but at least they were replaced and they look quite decent. Or at least I think they look better. One thing I haven't pointed out is when you screw this screw the backing plate there, and you can see just the screw head, there's not much gap to get a screwdriver through. If you have this whole fairing off, there is a hole which looks to be designed so you can pass a screwdriver through. You can just see it where the wire connects there. However, what I did is I used one of my little bits, put a ratchet on the end and used that to tighten it up. That took freaking ages. I think I'm coming up on 2 hours to do indicators, which is probably the longest I've ever spent doing anything on this bike other than cleaning out the carbs. But they're fitted, they now work. Wrapped up with a little bit of loom tape just to kind of keep it a little bit cleaner and tidier. Fairings are all back on. I've got quite a few mismatched bolts, and one of the areas I think is slightly misthreaded. So at some point I'm going to need a bolt kit, so they're all matched at least. I need to thread and retap a few of the holes just to make sure that they're nice and secure, because one of the lower fairing points is a little bit suspect. Other than that, I'm good for the MOT now. It runs, it starts, it stops, everything seems good, all my lighting's now working. I think the only thing I need to do is get a small little reflector for the back and book up for the MOT and get some insurance. So that should be my next up trick, is getting the insurance sorted and putting a reflector on the back for the MOT, and we'll come back later and see how we got on. Overall, bike's looking good, feels good, I'm really quite happy. Right. If anyone has any better ways of how to access these indicators in case I have to get to them and then, do let me know, because I struggle busting my way through this. Probably should have read the Haynes manual, probably should have bought the Haynes manual, so I think I'll do that soon. Alright, thanks very much. Cheers.